Welcome, Collins. Thanks for doing this interview with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So we like to start off by just acknowledging the original stewards of the various lands that we're on, as well as our ancestors and elders, the community stalwarts whose shoulders we continue to stand on as we do this collective work for our liberation and sovereignty. So let's just start off by having you introduce yourself to our viewers and listeners.
Great, thank you. So my name is Collins Boakye-Yiadom. I am a licensed mortgage agent and real estate professional. I'm also a program manager for Dream Legacy Foundation on the affordable housing initiatives. I'm a family man based here out in Toronto. I have 3 boys, and then just passionate about helping people achieve generational wealth through real estate.
I love that. Can you share what the mission and vision is for Dream Legacy Foundation?
Yeah, so we are a nonprofit organization that really emphasizes on bringing up the community and providing access and resources to the community. So a couple of the mantras that we really believe in is, again, on the same pathway of building generational wealth for minorities. And we kind of focus on certain areas such as housing, which is the division that I'm a part of, entrepreneurship through skilled trade, entrepreneurship through building out businesses, research studies, as well as health studies as well. So we believe if on all of these pillars, if we're able to provide access and resources based on all of these pillars, we'll be one step further to now bringing up the community and helping to promote that generational wealth amongst the community.
That's great. So can you tell us a bit about the origin of the organization and how you guys are disrupting multiple ecosystems with your current model?
Right. So we're actually under, it's a group of companies under the Dream umbrella. So we were founded roughly about 10 years ago, again, out of a grassroots necessity that we were kind of already in the process of building out. So we started off as one of our group of companies is into real estate development. We're one of the largest Black-owned real estate developers in Ontario, possibly even in Canada, with different projects throughout the GTA. And through that real estate backing, we realized that obviously it was great as minority owners to now achieve wealth and achieve massive wealth through real estate, through developing in projects and investing in real estate. But what we realized was that it wasn't enough for a few of us to actually have access to this information and then the rest kind of be left out. So we obviously started with friends and family, and then word kind of traveled. And what we were able to do now is actually create a formalized structure where we would now actually provide, again, seminars, workshops, tutorials, guidance on how to invest in real estate safely and responsibly. And again, it was more so on providing that information and hand-holding the community as well, right? Based on our personal experience. And then we also realized that, this is great. We're starting with housing. We have a few housing initiatives and, the information is getting spread out there, but we also realized that some of our business is actually entrepreneurial, or all of our business is entrepreneurial. So in order to now get to the housing, we need to basically create an infrastructure where we have enough income to support ourselves, right? So that's where the entrepreneurial division or part of the Dream Legacy came to be. And then that led to now, how can we help pick up some of the pieces where, you want to start a business, or maybe you already have an existing business. How do we now provide the resources, the funding, the training to now elevate you, again, to now increase that, help you now employ other people in the community and even outside of the community. And then it's cyclical from there. So that entrepreneurship training and partnership that we have with other institutions. So out of that grew that program. We also partnered with Ryerson University as well on several incubator programs on the tech side of things. So we got into some tech founders and supporting tech founders as well, especially minority tech founders in the community. And then again, that now we also identified the need for skilled trades, right? Again, also tying to income, but also tying to a need that's not only required for minorities to kind of get into and be exposed to that, but also the need based on Canada as a whole, where we have a labor shortage, right? So we see the baby boomers now being approaching retirement and the need for additional skilled trade. So why not be a part of the skilled trade? Why not be a part of the tech infrastructure? Why not be a part of the small business growth? So we're really just, again, identifying all of these areas where we can now provide access and resource as it is as our own institution to now grow the community. And then subsequently, we all kind of grow and support each other.
That's great. Very valuable work. So thank you for going into that. How important do you think impact investing and philanthropic innovation is in this industry that you work in right now?
Great question. I think it's very vital because without that, I think we experience a significant gap in the market, as I mentioned. In the Toronto area, even in a Canadian context, there is for example, a global or a national housing crisis that we're in right now. So we really do rely on the impact investing to now help and support that. And then also it gives an opportunity for those who wouldn't otherwise get that opportunity to now experience ways that they can build wealth themselves, which in turn now has a direct impact on the economy. More people get hired, more income is made, more tax revenue is generated. We look at the refugees that come in, we look at the amount of immigrants, international students that come in. These are very talented individuals, right? So it's really important that we have not only the programs to support them, but also have the impact investing to support the programs so that it's cyclical and that we can actually create an even stronger economy. And then more importantly, create an even stronger community. Right.
Absolutely. So what inspires you most about your current model at DLF?
I would say it's really truly just on that impact, right? So again, on the housing side of things, one of our programs is the Affordable Home Ownership program. So currently that we're in partnership with Black North Initiative, as well as Habitat for Humanity. So the program is run by Black North Initiative and empowered by Dream Legacy Foundation. So we are the support system and looking and engaging with the community and really doing the outreach and the applications. We know that the impact that we're having on families being able to actually achieve home ownership is very vital. As a first generation Canadian myself, I'm a real estate investor. I have multiple properties. I'm okay. But what's really vital that I see is that we have other families as well being able to achieve the same level of ownership, right? It's not enough that one person kind of just is at the top, or a few people are kind of at the top and they're well off. It's very important to kind of reach back out and extend that. So it's really fulfilling to now see, a family that otherwise without the program, they kind of gave up or lost hope on home ownership, to actually come through and be able to now educate them, provide the resources and the program to now facilitate their dream of home ownership. And we really see the ripple effect of what's happening, right? The very first family that we had into this program, on the day of the legal signing, we actually had, she actually brought everybody to tears because she was a single mother. And she just broke down and said, you know what, like, wow, this is actually happening. I had given up, and if it wasn't for the program, I would never have the opportunity in my wildest dreams to actually own a home in Toronto, let alone anywhere in Canada, right? So It's really just hearing those stories, and it kind of pulls a heartstring on me because pulls at my heartstrings because my parents were able to achieve home ownership just based off of my a close family friend that actually had been in real estate for a couple of years and just offered his time, offered his education to literally walk my parents and hold their hand into understanding how home ownership is achieved. So as a result of his selfless action, my parents now achieve home ownership, and it didn't cost them anything. It was just kind of just his time, and they achieve home ownership. And then as a result, myself and my siblings now, our environment changed. We were exposed to home ownership, and based on that one action from that family friend, now I'm now exposed, and now I have my own portfolio, and now I'm basically kind of passing along the torch. So you can see how one person's actions have an extreme ripple effect, because now my children will, God willing, be exposed to real estate, and then they will now pass that knowledge and that information on to their children, and so on and so forth. So one person's actions impact generations, and then I take pride in knowing that I may now be that position where I am that one person for these families or whoever else may come into the program, where we now are providing that impact generationally amongst their family as well.
That's a beautiful story. Definitely, you can see the impact, something that is rewarding even before it's fully manifested, right? Just having the confidence and the faith that it's possible, like just allowing people, it's called dream legacy, I guess, for a reason. So to make people believe that they can and help those dreams come true, that's really remarkable work.
Absolutely.
What challenges or barriers do you guys face at DLF, and how are you and your team working to overcome them?
Right. So I think the biggest challenges is really being. I think we've done a really good job in terms of outreach, in terms of letting people know about the program or programs that we have to available. I think the biggest challenge, though, is being able to meet that demand that we experience, right? And being able to meet that demand comes with more institutional partnerships. So we are our own institution. However, we also recognize that we can go further as a collective, right? So whether that come as actual impact funding, whether that comes as other partnerships that we foster. We really value that, and we're continuing to build on that. So we recognize that once we solidified more and more of those, we're actually able to now go back into the community and actually be able to facilitate more and more families or individuals that now want to get into one of our many programs. Right. So it's really just that collaborative approach and really being able to now grow accordingly based on the partnership with the various institutions that we have. But I think we're slowly overcoming it. Like I said, this is not our first year in operation. We've been around for over 10 years now. So really feeding off of the other partnerships that we have and other partnerships coming up. So we're also working on some things to expand our housing program as well. So to provide more access, more resources. So we'll definitely be on the lookout for that. But I think those are the main challenges that we have, but we're definitely working through them for sure.
Absolutely. And I think the more that you have success stories coming through the program, the more it would really spread. And hopefully there's more investment because you guys definitely have major impact in our community. So we really applaud your work. Do you have any set of priorities that you're working on right now that you'd like to highlight outside of what you've already mentioned?
I think right now it's really just the two main areas. So again, the housing program, and then the second program would be our skilled trades program. So really, especially on the skilled trades program, I think it's something that can really help the youth to now learn about skilled trade and get involved in that sector. So really just advocating and promoting that as well. And obviously all of the information can be found on our our website, dreamlegacy.org. But really just promoting that and making sure that the awareness is there. I mean, on housing, it's very simple. Everybody needs a place to stay. Everybody wants an affordable house. But in terms of skilled trade, some people may not necessarily know that they want to go into skilled trade. So even just having the ability to access the program, tap into this free resource to now even just explore one of the many different skilled trades that one can be involved in as a possible career path as a person entering into the workforce. So I think those are the two main areas that we're kind of focusing on right now. And then personally, again, we kind of spoke about it offline. I have plans for a real estate conference in Ghana to now actually be able to assist those in the diaspora now purchase in different markets. So not everybody wants to live in Canada permanently. I personally don't love the snow, even though I was born here. But just being able to actually have an alternative, right? Or maybe even a second home, right? So being able to now facilitate that is definitely on my agenda, and it's another project that I'm working on. But again, just another avenue of building wealth, right? So you can build wealth here, and you can also build wealth in back home on the continent.
That's super exciting. I think that like now more than ever, not just the snow, but now more than ever, there's a huge exodus out of definitely Ontario, sometimes to other areas of Canada, but a lot are going south. And I can see a lot of people wanting to go back to the continent. So when is your conference that you said you're hosting in Ghana?
So that's going to be in early January of 2024. So the idea is that we have real estate expertise on the ground that will educate the diaspora on how to actually purchase real estate. And then we also have a second day where we're actually doing group tours with some of the developer partners, where we can actually go to site and actually see the development projects. And again, outside of the weather, it is also much cheaper to purchase compared to here. So the value is definitely there. But Ghana is a beautiful place, and looking to actually, we have plans to actually expand across the continent in different countries as well too. As mentioned, to just give the exposure and the opportunity to now see other markets there and other opportunities, whether it be for investment purposes or even for additional holiday vacations or personal residential purposes as well too, or maybe even a mix of both.
Yeah, I definitely think you'll have a huge market interested in that. Just like I said, right here in Ontario, but as you extend, there's definitely more interested. So I'm glad to hear that. Definitely share that with it, so with us, so that we can highlight that for you when you're ready.
Absolutely.
How do you feel about the future of impact investing and venture capital here in Canada? I'll even throw in like just general like affordable housing and the real estate market here in Canada.
I think the future, it looks promising. I think there just needs to be a little bit more stakeholder engagement, or a little bit more engagement with those who are on the ground, right? That are seeing, the day-to-day challenges of, for example, of affordable housing, right? So it's one thing to create a policy and then kind of just put it out there for impact investing. But if you're really working with organizations such as Dream Legacy Foundation, who not only have a history of dealing with real estate on the personal side of things, not only as primary residences, but also as real estate investors, and then having that development background as well too, and then already dealing with the community for so many years, for over 20 years, as a collective. I think really getting that on the boots on the ground type information and data, I think is very important. But again, right now we're in a housing crisis, so there is a lot of attention that's being put on affordable housing. And affordable housing has very different meanings. Are we talking deeply affordable housing? Are we talking supportive housing? So there's many very different aspects of affordable housing that kind of gets lumped together. But all in all, they all have a demand. They all have a need. And so I think that now more than ever, with interest rates where they are in terms of the cost of construction, all of these different factors that play into the housing affordability, unaffordability, I should say. I think now it's getting much more media attention, much more institutional attention. We have more impact investors and funds coming into the space in order to actually help out. So it's great. I just think that we need more action, right? We can't wait 2 years to come up with a solution and then kind of at that point, roll that out, because every year it gets worse and worse, and every year we have a housing shortage even just on rentals, right? So forget about the affordable side of things and forget about owning a property. Even just on the rental space, we have a deficit, right? We're not building enough, and we have 1 million people coming into the country a year, right? So definitely, I don't see the demand for housing going down anytime at any point in the near future. So it's really important that we bring all the players to the table and then now be able to execute as soon as possible, so that we can bring everybody into number one, safe housing, and then number two, make it as affordable as possible for everyone.
That would be perfect. So, my next question is, what is your ultimate goal, and what does success look like for you and your colleagues at DLF? I feel like you touched on it a bit, but if you want to elaborate on a perfect world, what that would look like.
In a perfect world, we'd be able to touch over 10,000 families, even on the specifically on the affordable housing side of things, to impact and touch over 10,000 families. And that would be through our affordable housing initiative, as well as our wraparound services around that. So not only being able to put in, 10,000 families, helping 10,000 families achieve home ownership, but also being able to support them on other aspects of their life, such as providing additional income for them, providing additional training for them, but just providing them all around a holistic approach to building generational wealth. So we know that if we're able to get a hold of 10,000 families and give them affordable housing or affordable home ownership, like I mentioned earlier, the ripple effect of that is amazing. It's massive, right? And we're going to experience that for generations to come. And not only the fact that families will have affordable, clean home ownership, but then it also provides an opportunity for less debt in the future, more access to resources and information, and then we can see the direct impacts as a result of those 10,000 families. And it also really supports the Canadian economy moving forward, right? So I think the magic number for us is 10,000. And once we get to that 10,000, I think that's personally what I personally consider successful. But again, we look to, even on a day-to-day basis, every day we're able to now share knowledge and resources to a family. We don't know what may happen. Maybe they'll be able to take some of the information that they've learned from us, and maybe be able to actually purchase a home on their own without one of our programs. That's okay too. But we see the direct impact to that, to us being a resource, right? Where, we have so many families that in the past have come to one of our real estate sessions, for example, and they've gone off and they've been able to build out real estate portfolios themselves. And they've come back after many years and said, wow, Collins, like, I heard you speak here, or I heard Isaac speak here, or I heard this other associate speak here. And it had, I took it to heart. I went home and I made a plan of action. And now I have a wife and 2 children and I own 4 properties, right? Just because I came to your workshop, right? So we have many of those stories, and we're looking to get many more, exponentially more, to really, see that impact. But even on a day-to-day, again, being involved in the program, we just get that next family into home ownership. To me, it's very fulfilling there. And like I said, it really resonates with my own personal situation. And then knowing that I was able to now help a family achieve home ownership. So it's great. It's a great feeling.
It's good. I think 10,000 is definitely a good number, a good start. It'll put a dent in the work that needs to be done here. Do you have any closing thoughts or calls to action for our community right now?
I think my closing remarks would be to get involved. Don't be afraid. There are many resources for you. Don't be shy. I know it may seem intimidating to now reach out and get some information, or even just ask for help. But I think it's very important that you put your hand up and actually ask for help. I know sometimes in our community it may seem taboo. You don't want to share your business, so to speak. But if you close mouths don't get fed, right? So you definitely have to ask if you need that help. And then secondly, probably be willing to share that information as well too. So that's also how we build up the community, being able to now share those resources with your friends, your family members, colleagues, whoever it may be, because you don't know what the impact of sharing that information with your neighbor would actually be, right? So reach out, share the information, and then finally, don't be afraid to execute on the information, right? And you'll definitely be able to get results from there. But be patient with us. We're still building, we're still growing, and we're still working on ways to impact and get to that 10,000 as quickly as possible.
That's great. So be willing to be vulnerable, reach out and ask for the help that you need, and then no gatekeeping. Once you find a good thing, share it with the community, pass it on. So I think that is a great way to end off. Thank you for that. We'll definitely put your contact for Dream Legacy Foundation and the homeownership program in the description so people can follow up with you and find you. So once again, we want to just applaud the work that you're doing, and thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
For sure. And we're just going to close off the way we started by acknowledging the original stewards of the various lands that we're on, as well as our ancestors who toiled without compassion or compensation. And we want to acknowledge our elders and community stalwarts whose shoulders we continue to stand on as we build and share and learn together for our collective liberation. So thank you so much. And thank you to our viewers and listeners.
Thank you very much.